Well, hi there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cardwell's Cauldrons here at Geektopia Island. I'm Cardwell.
And I'm Kevin.
And today, we are playing a fun little Grixis deck. One of the local players here asked me to make one to see what I would think about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, we'll do this for the channel for sure. But before we go and get to it, go and remind you that we do have a Patreon. It only takes $1 to support us, and we love you very much for it. And the link will be down below. And there's no cute name, except that it's just Baby Grixis. I put it in there as a holder name, and I was like, nope, that's it. That's how it's going to be said. Just Baby Grixis.
Because it's all little bitty dudes.
Yeah, it's just little dudes with a color that usually doesn't really want to do little dudes.
Yeah.
But the first little dude, he's important. And I think he's actually one of the strongest ones in the standard format for sure. Because every time I do play him with the other decks on Arena, it just demolishes. So it's Dreadhorde Butcher. It's a black and a red 1/1 haste. When he deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, put a 1/1 counter on it. And then whenever he dies, deals damage equal to the power to any target. So this guy, just if you're on turn 2, plot, swing, you win.
Yeah, this dude puts in a lot of work. Because it doesn't have to hit a player. That's
Yeah.
what makes it so good. You can kill the planeswalker off, he gets an extra counter.
Yep.
And then he deals free damage. It's just literal free damage.
And they have to deal with them.
Yeah.
And that will also deal with their creature or the
Yeah.
end of their planeswalker's life too. So it's pretty good.
Next up is Kroxa, the Titan of Death's Hunger. Sorry, forgot his name for a second.
Yeah.
He is a red and a black for a 6/6, and when he enters the battlefield, you sacrifice him unless it was escaped. So you don't really get to keep him at early, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then when he enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way takes 3 life.
Yep.
And then you escape for 2 red and 2 black and 5 other cards from the graveyard.
Yeah.
So you can bring him back to play for 4 mana and trigger all the abilities again. But you get double value out of him because 2 mana, you drop him early, deal the damage, he dies, and then bring him into play.
Bring him back. I know I've been using him a lot, but it's just a black-red card that's very solid.
Yeah.
And he's a lightning every time he swings, so it's just great. He works really well.
Yeah.
And of course, I know I've used this guy again, but only have 2 of each, but I have a Lazav, the Multifarious. It's a Farius, sorry. Blue and a red. Blue and a black. Jeez, I can't think of it's a 1/3 legendary creature. When he enters the battlefield, you surveil 1, which you look at the top card and then you put it in the graveyard if you don't want it, like Scry, but slightly better. And then you pay X, and he becomes a copy of target creature in your graveyard with command amount that costs X or less, or X, except it's named Lazav and it has this ability. And the reason why I wanted to try him in this one, because it's small creatures, so the mana cost is a little cheaper. And plus, all the small creatures have different abilities that you want to trigger. Like, why not have Lazav be a Dreadhorde Butcher, and then get counters on him, and maybe even switch to another Lazav that's already in your graveyard, so it's huge, you know? And stuff like that. Or a Kroxa with counters on him. Like, okay, cool,
Yeah,
that seems fun.
Seems good.
Seems really good. But I don't know. That's why I want to try him with little dudes with abilities and see how that goes.
Another one is the Bonecrusher Giant. He is a red and 2 for a 4/3 giant, and he's got adventure. But before then, when he becomes the target of a spell, Bonecrusher Giant deals 2 damage to that spell's controller. So he taxes your opponent if they target him, so if they're going to kill him, they take 2 regardless.
Yep, thanks. Sounds good, thanks.
And he's got adventure, which is Stomp, which is a red and 1 for an instant. Damage can't be prevented this turn. Stomp deals 2 damage to any target.
It's just, he's a solid value creature. A 4/3 for 3 is like, okay, but you get to actually shock your opponent beforehand, or kill one of the creatures on turn 2, and then turn 3 you drop this guy for them to take another 2, because they're going to kill it on their turn 3. He's just solid value and pretty amazing.
Yeah, him being on to curve to shoot a dude and get a dude is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. And also something that, not on curve, but still works really well, is Murderous Rider, because if you play black, you play this guy.
Yeah.
1 and 2 black, he's a 2/3 zombie knight. He has lifelink, but when he dies, put it in the bottom of its owner's library. But he has an adventure as well. Swift End, 1 and 2 black as well. Destroy target creature or planeswalker, you lose 2 life. Don't care. That's totally worth it.
Yeah, I will take having a kill spell and a creature on the same card.
For sure.
Next is the Thief of Sanity. It is a blue, black, and 1 for a 2/2, and whenever he's got Flying Mans, and whenever he deals damage to a player, look at the top 3 cards of that player's library, exile one of them face down, then put the rest into their graveyard. For as long as that card remains exiled, you may look at it, you may cast it, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to spend it.
Yep.
This dude is insane still.
He's still.
Like,
and no one wants to play him. I don't understand.
Because that's a free card that you get to see, and playing their deck against them really hurts them because they have to kill their own creature.
Yeah.
Over killing one of your dudes. So either way, you're going to get value out of it, and it just gives you extra stuff.
Or you just grab their own counter from them.
Yeah.
And do that. Or even like a tiny Hydro Crassus. Even you don't have the lands for it or the ramp, but you still get it. Or a Nissa, because Nissa wins too.
Mm-hmm.
Or just, yeah, any of those. Any of those work. Now, he's one of my favorite creatures still in Standard, and I have to play with him. Niv-Mizzet, Parun, 3 blue, 3 red. Hopefully we get there, but if not, you can just pay with Lazav and become him as well. So, he's a 5/5, the spell can be countered, flying. Whenever you draw a card, it deals 1 damage to any target. And whenever a player casts an instance or sorcery spell, you draw a card, so hence dealing 1 damage. This guy used to be everywhere, now he's not, and I want to bring him back. He's like the papa of all the little baby creatures, for sure.
Yeah, he's still really, really good once you get him in play. He's just... The only issue with him is his mana cost, because that's 3 of each color, and that's a little rough. Not too bad, but it's rough.
Yeah, especially with the temples and Shox, you could probably get there for sure. Maybe not on turn 6, but you probably could. All right.
So the first spell we got is Expansion Explosion, because it's
Yes.
really still good on blue-red.
Yeah.
Expansion is red-blue hybrids, red-blue hybrid, and it's an instant. You copy target instant or sorcery with converted mana cost 4 or less. You may choose a new target for that copy. So,
Just
you're making extra spell.
Well, I was able to play this 2 Friday nights with someone else's deck and be able to Bedevil and then copy it to kill their Teferi and their big creature. It's like, wow, that feels super good for 5 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is Explosion. It is 2 blue and 2 red and X, and it's an instant. Explosion deals X damage to any one target. Target player draws X card.
Still really good.
Solid. And I mean, it's an instant. That's what makes it so strong, is because you're like, into turn, that can die, and I draw some cards.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Thanks.
Thank you. The next one is also Thassa's Intervention. It's a X and 2 blue instant. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest in the bottom of your library in random order. So it's like a dig through time, almost a little bit, if you can get there. Or you can counter target spell unless its controller pays twice X, which they won't be able to pay that, I'm sure, at any moment. So these are just spells that have extra value in them, so you can use them any way you want. And I feel like that's what the Grixis shell is just variety.
Yeah. Next is Thought Erasure. It is a blue and a black for a sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. They discard that card, and you surveil 1. So this dude sets up your Lazav, and it lets you see their hand to give all the value that you need. Like, you get all the knowledge of their hand, what they're playing, what they're doing, and they discard a card.
Yep.
This is really strong on turn 2 just to see it.
Exactly. It just really is. I find it always annoying when they do it exactly at turn 2. I'm like, oh, well, there's the game plan gone.
Yeah.
The next one, I already talked about it, Bedevil. It's a 2 black and red instant. Destroy target artifact, creature, or planeswalker. What else do you need?
Yeah. Killing spells.
Killing all of them for sure.
Next is Ionize. It is a blue, red, and 1 for an instant counters target spell. Ionize deals 2 damage to the spell's controller. So, counter spell that deals damage. That's what we're trying to do.
It's kind of weird that I feel like counter magic is gone anymore. So, to be able to bring that back and then also deal damage to him seems pretty fun. And the next one is Extinction, because it's also another way to get rid of planeswalkers. It's 3 in a black instant. Exile target creature or planeswalker. Look at the top card of your library. If you may put that card in the graveyard, which also helps Lazav for sure.
Yeah. And this card, that's all I hear about, is playing this card or finding this card, because it's essentially a Vraska's Contempt, and it does just the same.
With a little value.
It's an instant.
Yeah. And
it's so strong.
And it's 1 black, so it's very, very splashable, especially in a 3-color deck. Like I said, this is a whole deck based on hopefully just having the variety enough to get you through everything. Now, of course, we'll get into the lands. It's 24 lands, and there's a lot of variety because it's 3. So, first we got the Blue Castle, which comes into play tapped unless you control an island. But also, if you play 2 blue and 2 and tap it, you get to scry 2, which is very powerful. And then Babel Passage, which everyone should know by now. But you can sacrifice this and you search for a basic land, and if you have 4 or more lands, you get to untap it instead of Evolving Wilds, which comes to play untapped. And which comes to, we have 2 islands, mountains, and swamps to hopefully get you there. I don't know, because I'm trying to use less temples for sure to make it a faster game. We'll see if this works out. And then we have our steam vents, watery graves, and then we have our temples as well. Temple of Deceit, Infamy, and Malice.
So the red, blue, the blue, black, and the black.
Yep.
Because they're still good. They're still dual lands, and they give you scry, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the only issue is they do come in taps, so it's a little rough.
Yeah,
but if you get them turn 1, it's not a big deal. You're not going to be doing a whole lot on turn 1 anyway.
And just setting yourself up for sure. And with that, we move into our honorable mentions. And what we do is, of course, we don't know what the local meta is, so we just kind of give you a hint of cards that can be in the main deck or definitely in your sideboard for sure. And the first one is Elspeth's Nightmare. And it's a very strong saga, especially against aggro and sort of control too. It's 2 in the black, destroy target creature opponent controls with power 2 or less, which is nice. The second chapter. Opponent reveals their hand, you choose a non-land, non-creature card from this, and they discard it, so awesome. And then exile opponent's graveyard. So super great.
Yeah, for 3 mana, you get 3 of the normal abilities of black, which is really strong.
Yeah.
They take a little bit, but it's still 3 mana to do that, which is pretty nice.
So, exactly.
Next up is Role Reversal. It is 2 blue and red for a sorcery. Exchange control of 2 target permanents that share a permanent type. So you're like, cool, my little dude and your big dude, I want them.
Yeah, I want them. I want that. And of course, if you wanted to put a Planeswalker in your sideboard or play with a Planeswalker in this, then you're just like, cool, I'll take your Teferi, you can take my Ashiok that does really nothing. Stuff like that. Like,
yeah.
I feel like this card is, well, it's very silly, so therefore no one's going to use it, so I understand why. But maybe it can just blow someone out. Sure.
It definitely could, but you could also give away your Murderous Rider, because when the Rider dies, it goes back to your deck.
Yeah, exactly. If they have a 2/3, I don't care.
Yeah,
because now I have your Hydra Crosses.
Yeah, thanks.
Next one is Unmoored Ego. It's 1 black and blue. Sorcery, choose a card name, search that target opponent's graveyard, hand, library, up to 4 copies with the name of it, and then shuffle the library, and they draw a card for each card exile in their hand this way because they realize this is very powerful magic. So just gets away all the combo decks. Or you can say Nissa. Get out of here, Nissa, because I'm tired of...
Yeah, you just choose like the problem card and get rid of all copies of it, even if you don't like... And the best way to do that is if they're playing green, the good shot is they're probably playing Nissa.
Yeah.
And you just like, yeah, get out of here, Nissa. Or if they're playing red or black, it's good shot is to either choose Kroxa or Bedevil.
Yeah.
Because if you want your dudes, you get to keep your dudes that way.
Or even Dream Trawler, just like, I don't want to deal with that at all.
Next up is Ashiok Erasure. It is 2 blue and 2 for an enchantment with flash. When it enters the battlefield, exile target spell. Your opponents can't cast spells with the same name as the exiled card. And whenever Erasure leaves the battlefield, return the exiled card to its owner's hand. So this is a counter spell. It costs 1 more, but it makes them not be able to cast that spell for as long as it stays in play. Which is pretty strong because it is an enchantment, so it's a lot harder to deal with than normal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't run main board enchantment kill.
Yeah.
So you're just like, cool, counter that spell. You don't get any of those for the rest of this game. Thanks.
Yeah, it's super powerful, and people are playing 4-mana kill spells and higher creatures, then why not just play this?
Yeah.
You know?
Right?
I see no downfall in this at all. And of course, the next one is the obvious Leyline in the Void, because why not? 2 and 2 black enchantment, and if it's in your opening hand, you get to put it on the battlefield, and if a card will be put in the opponent's graveyard, then from anywhere, exile it instead. Which eliminates a lot of decks out there.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
Leyline of the Void is just a strong card. Because it's a free... It's free, don't have a graveyard.
Yeah.
Just for your opponent. You can still do all the graveyard shenanigans you need to. They don't get to.
Exactly.
And that is disgusting.
Very, very disgusting. Well, that is Baby Grixis. Hopefully, by next week, I'll definitely have it in the arena for sure. So you can see the gameplay for it. But with that, hopefully you enjoyed your stay here at Geektopia Island. And you have a good day.
Later.
Bye.
Also, guys, I just remind y'all to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and if you want to keep up to date on all our future content, make sure you click that bell. It'll give you all the notifications you need.
With that, we'd like to go ahead and give a big thank you to all our fans that support us through the year, and especially our Patreon support people. We do like to give a shout out to our Mythic and Above supporters, and that would be Dwayne Higgs. Thank you very much. We love you.